Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday the 24th of July 2025. Well, it's all kicking off today. So much news. I think Millwall, the people at Millwall are running, typical office drone hours. We get stuff on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday they fuck around and don't do anything. And then on Thursday, they got to start showing something for the week, and then they dump everything on Friday morning and then piss off for the weekend. So I think it's all started to kick in today, and we're going to see something tomorrow morning. And what am I talking about? Well, we've got apparently 2 players having medicals at the club. The club are talking to Spurs, making a bid for a Spurs youngster that they want to buy. They would want to buy on a permanent deal, not a loan. So, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Mill closing on deal for Fulham keeper. There he is there. Nice action shot. This is from the southernnews.co.uk, who obviously published today. They published today. Pick up a copy when you see it out in the shops. Millwall set to sign goalkeeper Stephen Benda from Fulham. No sniggering at the back, please. Yes, Benda. His name is Benda. He's German. He's allowed to have a name like that. News that then understands that the 26-year-old was having a medical at the club on Thursday as the Lions finalised a season-long loan for the German. Benda started his professional career with Swansea City after being in the academies of FC Heidenheim and TSV 1860 Munich in Germany. Naturally. The 6'4" stopper had loan spells at Swindon Town and Peterborough United before joining the Cottagers for an undisclosed fee in 2023. Benda has made 2 appearances in the FA Cup and 2 in the EFL Cup for Fulham. Goalkeeper was one of the main priority positions for Millwall this summer. Brenda is set to follow Massimo Luongo as the second signing in that department in this transfer window. And there you go. The medical's apparently being done today. Now you assume. Southern News have put it out. We assume the medical's gone well. They're just working on the final details. They're gonna tomorrow morning we get the pictures, the photographs, the interviews, all of that stuff that they do these days, and we get it announced, and everyone can piss off in the afternoon and have a weekend off. So let's have a look at him before we move on to the next player that we've been linked with. This is from SofaScore. You can see, so look on the left, you can see these are the games that he was involved in. You got a picture of a park bench. Why is that? He's been on the bench. So he was on the bench in the Premier League for Fulham last season. What does that mean? It means that he was their number 2 goalkeeper. So, they considered him good enough to come off the bench in the Premier League. And you think, well, how? They must have been sure that he could do a job in the Premier League for him to be on the bench. They're not going to they don't just give those places away. He's on the bench week after week after week. Week after week after week. So he's a number 2 Premier League goalkeeper. And they thought he was good enough to be involved. So they did. And you can't see it because I have to move my screen recording frame. 1 second, please. Now you can see the colourful ratings. So last season, as we've seen, he was on the bench for them in the league, but they gave him the cup games. How nice of them. And as previously mentioned by the Southern News, 2 FA Cup games where he didn't keep a clean sheet, conceded 2 goals, so you would imagine that must have been, we can deduce but logically that was 1 goal a game. It got a rating from SofaScore of 6.5 in the FA Cup. No idea who he played. I could find out, but I'm not that bothered. EFL Cup, plays 2 matches in that, concedes 1 goal, keeps a clean sheet. 7.5. Cool. And then we have the season before. So he's playing always because he's a goalkeeper. Even though he's not under 21, he played for Fulham under 21s in the Football League Trophy and in the Premier League 2, which is an under 21 division. So, and you can see in the Football League Trophy, 2 games, 1 clean sheet, conceded 3 goals, but got a rating of 7.3. So there you go. This is he's had loans at Swindon and Peterborough United, whilst being a Swansea player, and then Fulham snapped him up from Swansea, which is interesting. So if we look here, and you can see, obviously not played much for Fulham since he went there, but they're confident enough to put him on the bench in Premier League games. And remember, in this day and age where you have transfer windows, so you can't just go out and sign a goalkeeper if someone gets injured, like you used to be able to do when the transfer window just ended in March. So that you have to be confident that the players you have there are good enough to come in if something happens. So I'm assuming that Fulham kind of think he's pretty good. But we have to look at what he's actually done, because we want to try and extrapolate data from that to figure out, is he going to be any good for us? So the last time he played in the Championship, he did play in the Championship. He actually played in the Championship for Peterborough United. So he was on loan to Peterborough United from Swansea, and that was in the Championship. Interesting. So last time out though, 23 years old. They finished 10th in the league. He starts 21 games and goals against 27. So 27 goals conceded in 21. That's 1.31 per game. Shots on target against 69. Saves 41. Save percentage of 60.9. He won 9 games, drawn 6, lost 6. And only 5 clean sheets in 21 games. Okay. And that's a clean sheet percentage of 23.8. Okay. But then we go and we can look at the matches that he played in the last time he played in the season that I was just talking about, the Championship season. If you look at his actual save percentage, he seems to have, pretty highs and lows, shall we say, highs and lows. So there's some games where he saves every single shot against him, and then he has some, off days. You got 20%. They lost to Burnley. Burnley, I think that's the year they want to run away with the league. This is a couple of seasons ago when they went up, and obviously they just come back down, and then they've just gone back up. So this was the season they run away with the league. Shots on, so they had 5 shots on him. He conceded 4 goals, so that bumped him down to 20% save percentage. He's got one here, 0 against Birmingham. Two shots on, two goals. That's not too good. And then this one here against Burnley. So I think as long as he doesn't play Burnley, he's all right. But you can see, look, against Watford he made 3 saves. Against Huddersfield he made 3 saves. And kept a 100% save percentage. Against QPR, he saved 3 and kept 100% save percentage. So, pretty good. And in that season as well, he faced 2 penalty kicks. He saved 1, and that was against West Brom, and 1 was missed. That was against Reading. So, there's that. We've got his goal kicks and stuff. The average length of his goal kick over the whole season was 34. But obviously this is Swansea, so they were doing the old short ones. Crosses. Does he come out for crosses? Sometimes, but sometimes not. So the highest time he came out was 3 times for 7 crosses. So that's quite high, 42.9%, 40%, But the game before that was 8.3. 24 crosses into the box. Who was that? Birmingham City. Okay. And the game after that was Huddersfield and then Norwich City. So he can come out for crosses. I guess they do it on a game-by-game basis, maybe. But again, this was 2 years ago. So, interestingly, did not play against Millwall. So, he was on loan at... he played for Swansea. So they must have sold him in January because the 8th is August. And then in January, he doesn't play again for them. So you would imagine, where are we at? 22, 23. Maybe he got injured then, or maybe they moved then. I don't know, but yeah. So again, there you go. We seem to be signing this goalkeeper on a loan. Everyone says it's going to happen. You know, everyone in the know, it seems to be in the know that is saying that it's going to happen. Right. So that's going to happen. Now, this one is quite interesting. This is from the Yorkshire Post via the MSN.com. Sheffield United face potential competition for Tottenham Hotspur's Alfie Devine as Millwall linked. So Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Alfie Devine, who has been linked with Sheffield United, is reportedly a target for Millwall. The 20-year-old was linked with a move to South Yorkshire last summer when Sheffield Wednesday was said to be exploring a loan deal. Devine had shone during spells with Port Vale and Plymouth Argyle on loan. Therefore, another stint in the EFL hardly appeared unlikely. However, he instead completed a season-long loan switch to Belgian outfit Westerlo. After a productive campaign in the Belgian Pro League, Devine is back at Tottenham and has featured for the senior side in pre-season. Sheffield United have been credited with interest in the England Youth International. Yeah, he wasn't involved in the under-21s that just won the tournament. He's an under-20 international, which is the same team as Romain Esse, although could face competition. According to the Mirror, Devine has emerged as a target for Sheffield United's second-tier rivals, Millwall. Midfield appears to be an area of focus for the Lions, who are also believed to be closing in on the capture of former Wednesday and Middlesbrough midfielder Massimo Luongo. More on that in a minute. Devine was linked with Sheffield United alongside his Spurs teammate Ashley Phillips, who starred on loan at Stoke City last term. The Blades have already missed out on the centre-back who's returned to the Potters on another loan deal. Devine would arguably be a coup for a raft of Championship clubs, given the maturity he has shown at such a tender age. Speaking to the Standard about Devine in 2021, ex-Spurs boss Jose Mourinho said, "He's a kid with a great potential. He's basically a midfield player, but with an instinct to appear in the finishing zones and to score goals." And then the last thing's just about Sheffield United. Now, this is for a permanent deal. This is not a loan. It is reported that we are trying to sign this player on a permanent deal. Now, Spurs have, obviously, they got the new manager. They've been spending money. They've been signing players. So it would seem they need to probably make some of that back. And, you know, they assume, you know, they're probably selling Alfie Devine to do that. So, let's have a look at him here. Right, again, 1 second, please. Okay, so this is his scouting report from fbref.com. These are the similar players to him over the last year. To be honest, I haven't really heard of any of them. Genzo Goodman kind of rings a bell because he plays for Derby County. I was sure I've seen his name, like he scored a few goals and I saw his name. But other than that, don't really know these players. Goal scoring. This is compared like to other midfielders in the men's next 14. So you've got the top leagues in the world, and then you've got the next 14 competitions. So comparing midfielders in the next 14 to him, this is what he is. And you can see there's a lot of green there. And I believe this is over the last 365 days. So 0.22 goals per 90 minutes. You think, well, that doesn't sound... He's a midfielder. Expected goals 0.18. That's per 90. Progressive carries 1.79. Progressive passes 5.17. Progressive passes received 5.10. What does that mean? Progressive means going forwards, towards the opposition's goal, where we need to score some goals. So shots per game per 90 minutes 2.35. A midfielder that can shoot and score goals. 2.35 shots per game. Shots on target 0.84. And then you think, well, that's not very good from 2.35, but that's still in the 99th top 1%. He's one of the best. Again, shots on target 35.7%, but that's still better than most midfielders who just plays it wide. Average shots distance 19 yards. He can shoot from 20 yards. Expected goals, etc. Now, again, they've got here. So hasn't been doing a lot of passes. So this is comparing him to other midfielders. Passes per game 27. Passes attempted 36. So it doesn't look too good. But that's just total, because if you look at the percentages, he completes 76.3% of his passes. When you think he's passing it forward, not sideways or back to back and back, that's pretty good, decent. His short passing is 77.7, medium passing is 83.7, and long balls is 58.8. And then you go down, you can see all of the stuff. Crosses per game 1.63, throw-ins taken, corner kicks, it's all here. We live in the modern world. They can they can monitor everything. They know they know how many beers you've been drinking by how much recycling you get. They know everything about you. Now we go. Shot creating actions per game 2.97. He makes things happen. He helps creating shots. If you don't know what shot creating action is, I've mentioned it before. So we have the goal, and then we have the assist. The assist is a shot creating action, and then we have what's called I call a pre-assist. So the pass that goes to the person who has the assist. So you get 2 shot creating actions for every goal. He makes people shoot. He creates chances for people to shoot. And how he does that as a take-on, as a shot, or drawing a foul. So obviously, if you get a free kick, that's a shot creating action. You've won your team a free kick outside of the opponent's penalty box, that kind of thing. So there you go. Now, again, he's not really a defensive player. He does do a bit of it, compared to other midfielders, not that good. One thing that does stand out, though, he can tackle people that try to dribble past him. Although he hasn't done that much, but the percentage is 70.0%. So there you go. And it just goes on and on and on. Now here. So carries of the ball per game, 32. So he gets on the ball 32 times. Carrying it, so as in moving the ball around, running with it, etc., 209 yards per game. The amount of that going forwards is 77.56. Progressive carries into the final third. So he seems to be someone who can dribble with the ball. Pass it to other people, take shots from outside the box, score goals from outside the box. He's won a few penalty kicks as well. And and his aerials are so-so, 50-50, 52%. So there you go. Now, well, not yet, because we've got another thing to look at. So here we go again. Alfie Devine, that's what he looks like. There's his picture there. Interesting enough, some of you may know this, some may not. He's the son of Sean Devine, but not that Sean Devine. If you know who that Sean Devine is, good luck. If you don't, I will tell you. There is a player, a striker, who came through the Millwall youth team, I believe in the early 90s, early 90s. I don't think he played for Millwall's first team, but he came through the youth team. He ended up going to Fisher and then Bromley. He goes to Barnet. Guy's on fire. Scores a load of goals. I think he's still their record goal scorer. He goes to Wycombe, does the same thing. Scores an insane amount of goals. And he came through the Millwall youth team. However, Alfie Devine is not the son of that Sean Devine. He is the son of a different Sean Devine, who is also a professional sportsman, but a rugby league scrum half. So he's the son of Sean Devine, the rugby league player, professional, not the former Millwall player, footballer who's scored insane amount of goals for Barnet and Wycombe. So now Alfie Devine. Let's go down here first. So last season, he's in the Pro League. What's the Pro League? That's the Belgium League for Westerlo. I just told you about that. Did you forget? Before that, so 2 seasons ago, he had 2 loans. I believe one was a youth loan to Port Vale, and the other one was an actual loan to Plymouth. That was in the Championship. So he's played in the Championship for Plymouth 2 seasons ago. He actually played against Millwall. He only played 4 minutes in that season. 1 second. You can see the colours, and you can see, in the EFL Cup, I don't know who that was for, whether that was for Port Vale, Plymouth or Tottenham. Played 4 games. Got 1 goal, 1 assist, 7.48. So this is 2 years ago. So he's 18, probably 17. It's before his birthday. Goes to League One, involved in 20 games, scores 2, 1 assist, 7.04 rating. So that's pretty good. So then they call him back, goes back out on loan to the Championship. And he's involved for Plymouth, 858 minutes. Doesn't score, gets 2 assists. So probably struggled a bit. I don't think he played that many 90 minutes, especially as an attacking midfielder. I think he kind of got rotated in and out because Plymouth weren't doing too well. They needed to try and stay up. So I think he was a bit part player. Still got 6.79 in the Championship. So maybe a bit of a roadblock, whatever. Okay. So the season after, when, as mentioned, does he go to Sheffield United on loan? Or no, Sheffield Wednesday on loan? No, he goes to the Belgium League. He plays 30 games, scores 6 goals, 1 assist, 7.02 rating. 7.02 rating. And this is the game. So this was a couple of days ago. He played for Tottenham against Reading in a pre-season friendly, and I didn't know they gave ratings, but he got a 6.8 rating in that game. So I mean, playing for Tottenham against Reading pre-season, how about that? And as you can see, if you look, where is it here? So it says here market value, but these websites, what do they know? 3.6 million euros. So this could be another one to break the transfer record of Millwall, which will be the 4th time in 2 years. I mean, if this comes through, but I mean, I don't understand how. Why are there not Premier League teams looking at this? I guess the thing with the Premier League is it's all about here and now. You need to build a team to stay in the league. And you can see, they have the clout, they have the aura, they have the money, they can pay the wages, and they can literally sign whoever they want to sign anywhere in the world to come and play for their team. So if they need a right back, they can go and get the best right back they can get. So they're not really, they do have their own youth teams and they try and develop, but we're seeing now that they want to sell those players because that helps with their FFP, because it's basically free money. You paid nothing for this player in a fixed cost term basis. Obviously there are costs behind the scenes, but that can be spread out and amortized. But yeah, I don't understand. But I think if he is being made available, and it could be that Mill will work on a deal, they figure out a price, and then other teams find out what the price is going to be and think, well, if we'll have him for that price, we'll pay a little bit more. So they say his strengths are high pressing. That's what we do. Weaknesses, no outstanding weaknesses. And you can see his ratings on a game-by-game basis if you look on the left-hand side for Westerlo. I don't know where they finished in the league, but you can see, look, consistently mid-6 and above. He's scoring goals. Poor old Hoot Everly Leuven, which is the team that Casper de Noor came from. He scored against them twice in the space of, a month? Yeah. So, I mean, this is interesting. Now, even though he is playing at Tottenham, he is, as I mentioned, his dad's a rugby league player, so he is from the north. So, I don't think that necessarily means, he wants to stay in London, so he'll move to Millwall. You would imagine if he moves to Millwall, it's because they're going to play him. But, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Sunderland, they got a pretty young team. And, if they buy him, to play in the Championship for when, if they possibly get relegated next season, it wouldn't surprise me if some kind of team like that, they buy him, they involve him in the Premier League games, probably not every game, bit like off the bench, etc., etc. And then, he's got Premier League experience then, and when and if they do get relegated, they'll have a decent Championship player. So I can't see why, teams like that don't come in for him, so, Sunderland. But we will see. We will see. But yeah, this is another level. This is Mill kicking it up another level. Now, interested to know, obviously, this hasn't been mentioned by the Southern News, so this was from the Mirror. So take that as you will. You would imagine if when we see it in the Southern News, we assume it's going to be close to being done, which is what we get from here, where we have southernnews.co.uk. Mill set to complete deal for former Ipswich Town midfielder. So Massimo Luongo, he's involved in pre-season out in Spain. He's not involved in the game against Wimbledon. Is the deal off then? What's going on? Well, no, it's apparently he's had a medical today. 1 second. So, Massimo Luongo is having a medical at Millwall and is set to sign a deal with the Lions after a trial spell. Luongo, 32, was part of Millwall's training camp in Spain and featured in friendlies against Northampton Town and Elche. Australian international Luongo is a free agent after leaving Ipswich Town this summer. Sydney-born Luongo started his career at Tottenham Hotspur before spells at Queen's Park Rangers, Swindon Town, Sheffield Wednesday and Middlesbrough. He made 11 Premier League appearances for the Tractor Boys last season, but most of those were off the bench, and I believe most of his minutes came from before the transfer window closed. So make of that what you will. I discussed it in the video at the time. But yeah, decent signing, I think. Again, the signings that we seem to have confirmed: Stephen Benda. Stop laughing, please. Stephen Benda, the goalkeeper. Massimo Luongo seems to be happening, those two. Yeah, decent. I like it. And, the Alfie Devine stuff, pie in the sky. Is it going to come off? I don't know. If they pull it off, I mean, it's fantastic stuff. But, he's a very good player. I can't see how, as soon as the price is negotiated with Millwall, that someone else doesn't come in. Now, maybe because of the financial, stuff, that there's not that room for, I reckon, 3 to 4 million, which is insane. That I'm telling you that Millwall will maybe be signing a player for 3 to 4 million pounds. That is insane. But wow, how far have we come? Now, talking of bids of around 3 million, this came up today. It's not going away, is it? It's I think it's a long old time before the transfer window closes, the 1st of September. It's only the 24th of July. I mean, we got we have to. I don't know. I don't know. So this is from footballleagueworld.co.uk. They're picking up a story that I think was announced by Sky Sports, that Italian club Hellas Verona, where we lay our scene. And the scene is that they bid 2.6 million, which I assume that's 3 million euros. Because obviously they do all their business in euros, because that's the money that they use. And it just gets converted into pounds. So I imagine that's 3 million euros for Japhet Tanganga, which has been turned down. So Millwall turned down a 2.6 million offer from Hellas Verona for centre-back Japhet Tanganga. The 26-year-old has been outstanding for the line since he initially joined on loan in January 2024. So it's no surprise that he's attracted interest, with Wolves and Sheffield United having been linked with Tanganga in January. Whilst the ex-Spurs man remained at the Den for the remainder of last season, a summer departure has been discussed with a host of clubs tracking Tanganga. And it appears Verona made a first move to sign Tanganga, with Sky Sports Transfer Centre revealing that the Serie A side made a bid of £2.6 million for the player, which was rejected by Millwall. Tanganga's situation is complicated by a release clause in his contract of around 1.2 million, but that only applies to Premier League clubs, which is why Millwall were able to turn down Verona's offer, even though it exceeded that sum. And then they got some of his stats. The report adds that Verona were ready to offer Tanganga a 4-year contract. Wow, in what would have been his first taste of Italian football. Etc. But Tanganga's true value does exceed £2.6 million when you consider his performances, so it does make sense that they have rejected this offer. Plus, the main aim for Millwall will be to win promotion, and they know that their chances decrease significantly if Tanganga does depart, so the fans will like to see that the club are fighting to keep him, given his quality and influence on the team. You get the feeling that this could be rumble on the window. Yeah, and it's a long old time till the 1st of September. And whilst Millwall have no control over the issue if Premier League clubs meet the release clause, they certainly don't feel that Verona's offer reflected his true value. So again, how true is this? I don't know. This keeps coming up. He hasn't been, the brightest in pre-season, but again, it's pre-season. Hopefully his hand's okay. He did break his wrist before, didn't he? So hopefully that's all healed up. So yeah, we will see. We will see if he sticks or if he goes. Now, moving on to this from southernnews.co.uk, we've got some comments from the manager on the performance of Jack Howland. So southernnews.co.uk might get more game time than I had anticipated. Millwall boss assesses impact of attacker. Alex Neil praised the tactically excellent Jack Howland after the Academy Products goal in the 3-0 friendly win against AFC Wimbledon at Ploughline on Tuesday. Howland fired into the bottom corner after Femi Aziz's opener before Mihailo Ivanovic added a third after the break. Neil has given a number of the Lions' young players opportunities in pre-season. Howland was at the training camp in Spain and featured in the friendlies against Northampton Town and Elche. Neil was continuing to assess them ahead of decisions whether to involve them in the senior squad this season or send a number of them out on loan. What I will say, they did look good against Northampton Town, and they did look good against Wimbledon. I thought they kind of looked outshone in Elche against Elche, and Elche, they're a La Liga team, they're a top flight team in Spain, so that would kind of make sense. But let's just be aware of who they're playing. Now, I thought Wimbledon were very poor. I was shocked to learn that they were a League One team, even though they had won the playoffs in League Two, so they've just come up. I was shocked because I didn't know that they'd done that. I did, but I kind of forgot. It's I'm recording videos every day for Millwall, so in my brain it's just Millwall. But yeah, they did do well. So obviously, we've got Bromley, we've got Sutton. You imagine if they played against Bromley and Sutton, they're going to do well against them. If they get any game time against Estoril, how will they do against them? Because Estoril are a top team in the Portuguese league. They finished 8th in the division of it is 16 teams in the division, but they finished 8th. So if they come in against Estoril and they play okay, I'm talking about Lamptey and Howland, and then we'll see how they do. But Neil has been impressed with Howland. I think Jack at the moment tactically is excellent, Neil told News Again. He understands exactly what I'm asking for him. He's got good quality and tight spaces, which is really hard to find in young players, tactically equipped and technically equipped. I think he's got both. If he continues the progress that he's on at the moment, you never know. He might get himself more game time than what I anticipated. He's done well, he's in the team on merit, so we've still got a lot of lads to come back. But it's nice to see the quality and certainly the potential of some of the younger boys as well. Well, to be fair, if you're making 4 million bids for Alfie Devine, who's an attacking midfielder, then you can say, well, then they have to compete. But if you're paying 4 million for Alfie Devine, he's coming in to play. However, unless he just stinks the gaff out, that you assume that then moves, RBW down the pecking order, moves Howland down the pecking order. So we'll see. I think, be interesting to see, especially if we sign this goalkeeper, is George Evans going to go out on loan? Because you've got Benda and Krakom. Obviously, they do have a third goalkeeper for, just in case. That will be, you assume, Jakob Przewozny. He's an under 18. He's going to be involved in the under 21s this season. He's just stepped up. So again, we'll see what happens with the loans for the youngsters, and you imagine that will be decided probably quite late on. So if that affects our business, because if our business coming in is early or late, that would affect the loans going out being a lot later as well. So we will see about that. But praise for Jack Howland, indeed. Now we've got a gallery of pictures from training ahead of the game against Bromley on Saturday. The Lions stepped up their preparations ahead of Saturday's short trip to Bromley, with Thursday's session captured through the lens. A selection of photographs from the session can be found below. And there is Tristan Clameur, Benicio Baker, Adam Mayer. What are you smiling at? Lad? RBW back in training. Good to see. We haven't seen him in pre-season. Will we see him on Saturday? Ivanovic and Femi Aziz, Negley, Wes Harding, and seemingly outrunning Lamptey and loving the fact that he is. Tanganga, you can see that his fingers are still taped up. Wes Harding again. Krakom. Sheldon Kendall. Langstaff. Luke Condell. Kevin Nisbet. There he is. He is alive. He is real. And apparently he's not injured anymore. Although you can see the scar on his knee. You can see that. So he has had his fair share of injuries in the past. Tanganga there. Denor, Emaku, Kevin Nisbet, Danny Mack, Jack Howland et al. Beaumont in the middle there. Danny Mack. And we're back round to the beginning. So there you go. Lots of players involved there in those photographs that we haven't seen for a while. Will we see them on Saturday at Bromley? And we've got some news. The game is sold out. I mentioned it the other day. It is confirmed that it's sold out. Saturday the 26th of July. Millwall matchday details. This is from bromleyfc.co.uk. Please note that this game has sold out. Please do not arrive at the stadium without a valid match ticket. The Ravens host Millwall on Saturday the 26th of July in our final pre-season friendly. Yes. Reminder, League 2 and League 1, they start their season a week before ours. So when we're playing against Estoril, they'll be playing their first games of the season. Not only that, I think the day that we play Estoril, I believe that there's FA Cup games going on. I think Fish are at home in the FA Cup. I believe they are in the very early preliminary round. So that should be fun to do a double header. Supporters will be unable to park at the ground, Nuffield car park or on Hayes Lane for this fixture. There is nearby street parking available, but we advise fans to use public transport where possible. Then the stadium will be open at 12:30, but Broomfields will be open from 8 a.m. The game kicks off at 3, does it not? But the bar is opening at 8 a.m. Wow. Broomfields will be open pre-match to all supporters, including those in Zone 2. Broomfields will temporarily close at 2:45 p.m. and reopen at 3:15 for those in Zone 1 during the game for all fans to use post-match. Our players' walk is scheduled to take place at 1:15. Okay. And they'll be screening the following: the Belgian GB Sprint, the Australia versus British Lions, and the England-India Test. And at 3 p.m. they're showing the game that's happening outside in the bar on the televisions. Dave Roberts' Tea Hut and Cookies Cabin will be open for the fixture from 12:30 p.m. Please note that the East Terrace is closed due to development works. A polite reminder, supporters will need to purchase their season tickets or matchday tickets within a specific stand. The club currently plans to zone the stadium as below. Zone 1, supporters in the Glyn Beverley stand and West Terrace will enter via entrance 1 and have access to Bear Island Bar, Broomfields Bar and Kitchen and Cookies Cabin. Zone 2, supporters in the North Terrace and John Ferroni stand will enter via entrance 2 and have access to Ravens Lounge and the Dave Roberts Tea Hut during the game and Broomfields before entering through the turnstile. For clarity, supporters will only be permitted to watch a match from the stand or terrace they purchased their ticket within. Yeah, they've had to do this because they're working on the new stand. So they've segregated it, so you can't walk around the ground. You have to stay in your section. By the way, etc. It just goes on and on. I just wanted to show you that the bar's going to be open from 8 for a 3 p.m. kickoff. Like, blimey. Wow. And that it's sold out. So there you go. And that includes hospitality as well. It's all sold out. Now, moving on to tickets. We've got more tickets on sale. And I want to correct something that I said in yesterday's video. As mentioned in the comments, someone pulled me up on it. So, fair play. And I will correct it. For some reason, I said that we had 3,000 season ticket holders and 8,000 members. And I've actually the other way around. We have between 8,000 and 9,000 season ticket holders. And I don't know how many members we have. For some reason in my head I have the number 13,000. I don't think that's right. Maybe it's 5,000. I'm not sure how many memberships we've sold. But obviously this is in relation to, if you're trying to get a ticket to Norwich away, if there's 8,000 season ticket holders, they're going to be in the queue. There's 2,000 tickets on sale. You do the math. So your chances as a member of getting a ticket, very slim. Very slim. But there you go. But maybe you can get a ticket for Sheffield United away, because that's on sale. They go on sale to season ticket holders on Thursday, the 31st of July at 9:30 a.m. And then there's no loyalty point tiers. It's just all season ticket holders. And then it will go on seat sale to all members on Monday, the 4th of August. So season ticket holders have Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. And that's not this weekend, that's next weekend. And then the members have from Monday, the 4th of August, to buy the tickets. And tickets are priced at £33 for adults, £24 for over 60s, £21 for under 22s, and £15 for under 18s. And if you're an under 14, you need to have an adult go with you, and etc. etc. We have an initial allocation of 1,510 tickets, and this is a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. So there you go. So they're going to be going on sale next week, next Thursday. So they've given you 7 days notice. So there you go. Now, moving on to this. Junior Alliance Partners 25-26. Obviously, summer holidays are here. What do you do with your children? Maybe look at one of the Junior Alliance Partners to entertain them. So Millwall Football Club is delighted to announce its Junior Alliance Partners ahead of the 25-26 campaign. Perks are accessible to all Junior Alliance members and season ticket holders throughout the campaign. Our partners include Paddlebox, Base Camp Childcare, Merlin Entertainment, and the London Bridge Experience. Further partners include Sports for Tots and Little Splodgers. More information on all our partners can be found below by clicking their names above and by reading the flyers below. Millwall Community Trust also offer 10% discount to Junior Alliance for their half-term and summer activity camps, which I haven't really seen much added about on here. I know they have their own website, and they do some of that stuff gets posted on the Millwall website, but they now just mostly post on Twitter about the stuff. They've been doing things in Sevenoaks at the moment. So Paddlebox, you get 10% off a free racket hire. If you don't know what that is, that's kind of like what it's paddle. What do they call it? Paddleball, something like that. It's a sensation in America. Like wine mums are loving it. They're loving this shit. It's the best thing they've ever seen. It's like a cross between tennis and ping pong, sort of. I don't know. I don't really know, but it's quite viral. Yeah, everyone's getting involved because it's mostly done indoors. It's like squash kind of as well. So you don't need like an outdoor tennis court. It's just done indoors. And there's one of these like near the mill ground, but I think it's in a place that's it's temporary, because I think it's going to be knocked down as part of the renewal project, if that ever gets going, before the recession comes from the Labour government. Merlin Entertainments, which is you can save up to 15% at UK Merlin attractions. If you don't know what they are, I believe it's like places like Chessington, Fort Park, I think there, and maybe is there something else as well? Windsor, some other places, but you can get save 15%. What else have we got? We've got Little Splodgers, 10% off first term. No idea what that is. What is that, like a boarding school? Don't know. What was the first term? Sports for Tots. I'm assuming that's Sports for Tots. 3 months free off an annual subscription. So you get an annual subscription for the price of 9 months instead of 12 months. And summer promotion, 10% off birthday party packages. Okay. I guess, do you have to book it now? Or because then that would just apply if you've got a summer holiday. So it's literally just people who have a holiday in July and August, or you can book it for the future and still get 10% off. So there you go. And Millwall Community Trust, they have their half-term summer activity camps. I believe they had a thing at the weekend at Fisher's Ground Football Fun Day or something, and that was there. And Paddlebox Spermsy are offering junior specific coaching sessions over the summer holidays, with more information found below. So this is in August, Monday to Wednesday, 11th of August, week of 11th of August, week of the 18th of August. In the mornings, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is for the youngsters, 11 to 1 is for 10 to 13, and 1 to 3 is for 14 to 17 junior paddle summer camps. And remember that you will get 10% off if you use your Junior Alliance membership. Now, finishing with this. The Den, the Mill Ground, the famous Den. And they've just been created their own social media accounts. So yeah, Millwall Football Club launched the Den. Social media channels launch across LinkedIn and Instagram will provide supporters with important updates, including venue hire opportunities and non-matchday events such as conferences. Millwall supporters can follow the accounts now at the Den Millwall on Instagram and the Den on LinkedIn, which can be found on that link. To support the launch, the club is also launching an Instagram competition for Lions fans. Head over to the Instagram and follow at the Den Millwall and tag a friend in the comment section of the competition post for a chance to win 2 hospitality tickets for a category B or C match. The winner will be selected at random. So 2 hospitality tickets, we covered that the other day when we saw the pictures of the hospitality. So that's at a minimum, probably 300 quid, 300 to 400 quid. So that's, a decent price. And it's a decent price because they've got an insane terms and conditions, which I'm not going to read, but it goes all the way down to number 18. So, it's, here we go. So the winner will receive 2 tickets to the number 5 lounge. It's not the cheaper one, was it the Doherty's? It's the number 5 lounge. A list of eligible fixtures will be provided to the winner, and they must choose one game from the list to attend. Only the games on the provided list are available. Games not included in the list cannot be selected. The list will be provided to the winner on or around the 22nd of August. Is that the closing date? The winner will be chosen by a random draw by an independent promoter team member on or around the 22nd of August. So you've got a month to do this. So how to enter this competition? You need to go to at the Den Mill on Instagram. So, and I guess you need an Instagram account. And then you need to tag a friend in the comment section. And then you will be eligible to win. You have to be aged over 18. You can't be employed by Millwall or be a family member of someone who's employed by Millwall. You must follow either page by the 20. Oh, you can do it on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, that is a decent prize. All the promoter for this competition is Sodexo Live UK Limited. Interesting. Sodexo, they are, I believe, the catering company for the Den. So hang on a minute. So is the entire hospitality section of the Den being run by Sodexo, including this competition? So who's paying for the upgrade at the ground? Sodexo or Millwall? Is it Millwall's hospitality area or Sodexo's hospitality area? Is it owned by Millwall but being run by Sodexo on behalf of Millwall? So Millwall's the landlord of Sodexo. That is, I guess, interesting. That Sodexo, the catering company, is running this competition for the hospitality area, and you assume will be running the catering, which kind of makes sense. Why when you saw the menu, it was literally like a pub menu, the same kind of stuff that you see in a pub. So yeah, there you go. You fancy that? Do you fancy that? There's your chance to win. And on that note, thank you for watching. and goodbye.